Hello, everyone. Welcome to this special edition of the MeanGene Show here on iHeartRadio. Today is Veterans Day, Wednesday, November 11th, 2020. You know, we normally thank our veterans daily for their service, but today is a special day in which not only do we thank them for their service, but we go out of our way and actually honor them for not only their service, but their many sacrifices along the way. You know, I had the privilege to serve in the United States Navy and the United States Army. Enjoyed my time, made lots of friends, many of which I still have to this very day. I got to travel the world, including spending lots of time in the Asia Pacific and Europe. And honestly, if I had to do it all again, I would in a heartbeat. Currently, my youngest son, Justin, is serving in the United States Army and having a great career doing it. Today, I would like to take the time and honor those who served and currently serving in the armed forces. I have three unique individuals who will share their stories of courage and sacrifice right here on the Mean Gene Show on iHeartRadio. Stay tuned. All right, folks, my first guest is currently serving in the United States Army. He's a Sergeant First Class stationed at Fort Hood, Texas. He spent some time in Iraq and Afghanistan, and in addition to serving our country, in his spare time, you can probably find him near Lake bass fishing. But you know, I'm not talking about those little fish, folks. I'm talking about these big ones. Okay, so I'll let him explain all of that to you. Please welcome to the Mean Gene Show, Staff Sergeant Doug Cook. How you doing, sir?
Good, sir. How are you?
I am great. First of all, thank you for your service and happy Veterans Day.
Hey, happy Veterans Day to you too. I appreciate it. This is actually my first radio interview, so it's pretty exciting.
Hey, it's pretty cool, you know, and we both have to thank someone that we mutually know, and Ray Lee. She says I got, you know, she says, Mean Gene, you know, you got to talk to this guy, and I don't know how much of a big sports fan he is, but he can fish. I'm like, cool, we can talk about that too.
Well, I am unfortunately this year I was born a Cowboys fan, so it's a rough year for us. But yeah. As far as sports, I do watch a lot of Bassmaster and the FLW tour. Now they got Major League Fishing, which is I think in its second year, and it's pretty good. So I watch a lot of that on YouTube and stuff like that, especially when we're out in the field and that.
Hey, no problem. No problem. Hey, I want to jump in and just, you know, sort of talk about your career. I know you're stationed there at Fort Hood, Texas, which is not, you know, far from where I'm at here in the Houston area. But I do want to know exactly. I mean, just tell us about your decision to join the Army, and just basically how does it feel, you know, serving in the greatest military in the world.
Well, I'll tell you this, I love it. It's really been a lifesaver for me. I joined 14 years ago in 2006, and when I joined the Army, I was kind of in a bad place. Grew up in a small town, East Texas, and right out of high school, I was getting into some trouble. Finally, I told myself, hey, I better do something to straighten up. So went to the recruiter. They actually offered me a different job, and I said, well, I don't want to do that. I want to be an infantryman. I want to actually go fight the war.
Right.
And they said, well, we got this bonus for infantrymen. I said, well, you should have offered me that to begin with. I guess they was trying to hold back and save money. I don't know, but anyway, I signed up, and my first duty station, they sent me to Korea. And when I got there, it was like the day after New 2007. And I mean, I'd never seen snow like that, being East Texas. I mean, it was cold, mountains everywhere. Really pretty place. And it kind of had everything. In the summertime, it had monsoon season, hot and humid. So I did a year there.
Okay.
I got some good experience there. I was in a sniper section there, so I got to learn, from a few qualified sniper guys. So I got to learn a lot about shooting, and then from there I went orders to the 82nd in Fort Bragg.
Oh, wow.
I showed up there. Normally, you're supposed to be airborne qualified when you get there already.
Mm-hmm.
But I hadn't been to school yet, so I kind of got picked on a little bit, until they found out. Until we went to the rifle range, and I outshot all of them. And they're a bunch of hardcore paratroopers. Most of them had already been to Iraq at least once, and I hadn't been in the combat yet. But yeah, I was the only one to shoot expert. So they kind of shut up after that.
So once they saw that, okay, this man knows how to handle a gun here. Let's see if we can be his friend for a moment here.
Yes, sir.
That's awesome stuff. I mean, so career. I could certainly understand career. Spending time over there in the snow, I can certainly relate to you with the cold winters that they have over there. But I gotta ask though, and upon joining the service, now was this something you talked to your parents about, or your wife or girlfriend, or what? How was that final decision made?
Well, I had to back up a little bit. So when I was still in high school, I actually joined the delayed entry program to go into the Navy. I was going to be like an electrician's mate, and I ended up getting into some trouble and kind of disqualified myself from that job.
Okay.
Because I was drinking and doing some stuff I shouldn't have been doing. So yeah, I went about 2 years where I didn't really think about the military anymore. Still started getting back into some other trouble, and I said, I got to go join the Army. So it was kind of a decision I made on my own.
Okay.
Didn't really have a girlfriend at the time. It was one of those on and off things, and we were off at that time. And I said, well, ain't got nobody to worry about but myself. I just did it.
And you just did it now. And how long have you been in the Army?
Just over 14 years now.
Wow, just over 14 years. And once you got in, and you got your training, and you went overseas. I see E7. E7 is it's pretty good in the Army. Am I correct?
Yes, sir. I mean, it takes a lot of work, and it's pretty competitive process to make it to E7. You basically, to get promoted to become an NCO in the Army, E5, E6, you go to promotion board and you stand in front of the sergeant major and some first sergeants and answer questions. But E7 is a little different. They basically all on how your paperwork and your records look throughout your whole career. And then they got some just sergeant majors and your MOS, so 11 Bravo infantrymen that look at all your stuff and they decide, who gets promoted when.
Okay.
And it's pretty tough because you got some really good guys, you got some war heroes, you're competing against. So.
Well, speaking of war hero, now I mean you did spend time over in Afghanistan and Iraq. Am I correct?
Yes, sir. I did 1 year in Baghdad. So that was November 2008, November 2009, and then I did another like 7 months in Afghanistan in 2011. So two totally different fights too. It was kind of strange, but.
I could imagine, and like I said, man, thank you for your service. I know what you did over there, and representing the country, man. I mean, it was I never in my brief time in the Army and the Navy actually was way before back in the peacetime. So I am not one that could say that I've been on the front line like yourself, and I just really. I'm glad that we're talking to you because I know a lot of people, didn't come back, and you guys, I mean, you saw everything, and man, I'm just appreciative to have you on the show, and to talk to you on Veterans Day. So I do want to get back to this bass fishing though. Okay, let's talk about this just for a little bit here because, I mean, So are you in tournaments or something? Because when I see you're not catching these small fish. I got friends that they'll go out and they'll send pictures and say, "Hey, look what I caught!" And the thing about the size of my hand. But you're catching what 30, 40, 50 pounders? Am I right?
No, I mean, we catch some good ones. You know, a good bass to me is anything over like 5 pounds. So you catch one 5 to 10 pounds, that's a good one.
Okay,
And
okay.
they look big. They look a lot bigger in pictures. They look like, oh man, that guy got a 20 pounder.
Hey,
You know, you
you can tell I'm not a fisherman then, right?
no, but it's just something I kind of got into. I mean, I've always fished since I was a little kid. My dad has always had me into the outdoors and hunting and fishing. But really, when I came back from my first deployment to Iraq, it's when I really got into it. I met my wife, and we ended up buying a boat, and it was just a way for us to, spend time together. And then after we had kids and they got a little bigger, it became more of just me fishing by myself because she had the kids to take care of, and she didn't want to take the boat by herself and go
Hmm.
fishing. Which, if I taught her a little more, she definitely probably would do that just to get away.
Right, right. Now, how old are your kids, Sergeant First Class?
I got a 11-year-old girl and a 9-year-old boy.
Okay, okay. So, in any chance the either one of them join the military?
Well, my youngest is kind of automatically disqualified for his health condition.
Okay,
He got diagnosed with type 1 diabetes
okay,
a little
okay,
over a year ago,
okay.
and but I mean, he really looks up to me, and he likes the army and stuff like that. It's kind of discouraging, but
Hmm.
I don't know about the girl. JC, she might join one of these days.
That's all right. That's
I would probably push her more towards like the Air Force or something like that. Something where she can live a little more comfortable. Because
got you.
the army just tries to find the worst places to put you.
I understand. I have a son. My youngest son. He's actually serving. He's actually stationed in Fort Bragg, doing some time over in Germany right now. But I totally understand. Hey, Sergeant First Class Cook, I tell you what, I've never been to Fort Hood. I want to get up there because I definitely, want to check out the base, and I'm hoping I can get a chance. We, keep in touch. I can come up there and you can sort of show me around. And there's one place you
Yes,
definitely got
sir.
to show me, and that's the Class Six. Okay, I just need to know where that is.
Well, Fort Hood's really big, and it's got multiple class sixes. So
Yeah. Hey, take me to the
and
first one you show me to, and we good.
I can do that.
Hey,
Yeah, I'm actually out in the field right now.
oh,
We've been out in the field since the 30th of October, and what we're doing is we got these Bradley fighting vehicles, big up armored. They kind of, some people would look at them and think they're a tank, but they're not a tank. They got a little bit smaller weapon than an actual tank. But what we're doing is we're going through and we're qualifying as a crew, because you got your
okay,
driver, your gunner, and then like myself would be the Bradley commander.
right.
And we got to go through and we got to shoot all these different targets, and they listen to your commands that you give the gunner, and make sure you're shooting the right ammo with the right type of targets and stuff
Oh my
like that.
goodness,
So
I had no idea that you were out in the field, and I mean, this is. Well, I tell you what, I'm not going to take up much more of your time. I'm really honored that you were able to find the time to talk to us on Veterans Day. So I mean, so because it's Veterans Day, you're out in the field. Are you guys going to be able to celebrate in any kind of way or?
not really. I mean, we kind of it's just another day for us here. But at the end of gunnery, when we qualify, We're gonna have a big steak and egg. All the platoon sergeants and the lieutenants, we're all gonna cook for all the guys. We're gonna cook steak and eggs, kind of
Oh,
celebrate,
okay. Okay.
the end of the event, and it should be a good time. So,
Okay. Well, I tell you what, Sergeant First Class Cook, I thank you for your service once again. Thank you for taking the time to talk to us here, and I look forward to coming up there and introducing myself.
yes, sir. Come on. I mean, if you like deer hunting, there's some really good deer hunting here too.
See, you're gonna probably teach me two things that I've never done, and a deer hunt and bass fish. So hey, I'm all for it. Okay, I'll try anything.
All right.
All right, sir. You
Well,
take care.
yes, sir, and I really appreciate y'all reaching out and talking to me. It's pretty cool. I enjoy the experience.
Okay, same here, sir. And you guys have fun and keep doing the great work that you do.
All right, thank you, sir.
All right, folks. That was Sergeant First Class Doug Cook joining us from the field, actually, in Fort Hood. I am just, wow, didn't even know that he was out in the field. So certainly appreciate his time. And of course, now stick around. We have a couple of more guests joining us on this special appreciation on Veterans Day here on the Mean Gene Show. My next guest is a former United States Marine sergeant. He spent some time overseas. And I was recently made aware that he is a huge Dallas Cowboys fan. So this is going to be a fun show, folks. He's calling here today on Veterans Day. Please welcome to the show, Josh Schanenberger. Hey, Josh.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, it's great. First of all, I want to say Happy Veterans Day and thank you for your service.
Thanks, sir.
Now, you were actually in the United States Marine, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, and when did you go into the Marines, Josh?
You want to go with enlisted or actually boot camp? Because you want to go enlisted, I enlisted in 2012. I actually shipped out to boot camp 2013.
Okay. Hey, Josh, we hear a lot of stuff. Now, Josh, I used to be in the Navy, and
That
I
sucks.
so yeah, you know the history between the Navy and the Marines. Now, oh, and I also have to say, yesterday was the Marines' birthday. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. Happy belated birthday there. I know that's a huge thing there every year when you guys celebrate that. But I want to talk about when you got all of your branches of service and people choose whatever branch they choose, and sometimes you don't have a choice of what branch you choose. But what specifically made you enter the United States Marine Corps?
It was a childhood dream, to be honest with you.
Oh wow.
From the time I was little, I had an uncle that served and used to, little kids out in the backyard playing Army. I used to catch a lot of grief for playing Army. He told me, basically, I need to be a Marine.
That's interesting, and I know that every boot camp is difficult, depending on who you ask, and except the Air Force. Now, I don't have any Air Force guests on the show today. Not that I'm bashing them, but me and you both know they got it made pretty damn good, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, what was it difficult? Was it what you expected it was going to be, or was it even tougher?
It was all I expected and more, to be honest with you. I mean, the toughest part of it's got to be the mental portion. Just getting used to being away from home and getting beat down so much, and then eventually get used to it and build back up.
Now, and so you did what, about 5 years or so?
4 years active.
Okay, 4 years active. So would you say, upon getting out of the service, did you feel like you were a better person for having served that time?
Honestly, I just kind of looked at it as doing my part. I mean, I don't look at myself any higher than anybody else. I mean, it definitely felt great to be able to do that for my country, but other than that, it wasn't anything. I guess high and mighty. I should say, at least not in my eyes. Some people view it different, but
I hear you. I understand. So let's talk about the interaction with the United States Navy. I mean, were you aboard a ship? Did you have any sort of interaction with the Navy guys?
yeah, actually, we for my deployment to Libya, we actually steamed across on the USS Wasp.
Okay.
It was her first time being out of dry dock in 10 years, and that ship about burnt down every time they cooked something.
Oh my goodness, that's incredible. Well, I tell you what, I know I had fun. So where'd you do your boot camp at, Josh?
I was in MCRD San Diego.
Okay. Yeah, I spent a lot of time in San Diego as well, over at the NTC, which was at the time right across from where the MCRD. Now, do they still have that over there, Josh?
I don't remember, to be honest with you. It's been a while. The only thing I remember about that place is watching airplanes fly over every day when we're out doing stuff. Wishing you were on one of them.
I bet. Yeah, that's. I mean, there's a lot happening down in that San Diego area. But hey, I like I said once again, thank you for your service. I know for a fact Marines is a tough outfit, and what you guys do and continue to do, man. You like you said, you did your part, which I'm just honored to be able to talk to you and some other veterans today, and just kind of letting you guys tell your story. So now let's talk about the Dallas Cowboys for a minute. Because
Oh God.
I do a sports show, so I knew I was going to have fun when Ray Lee told me. She says, "Gene, he's a Dallas Cowboys fan." So I started praying for you at that moment. She told me that, right, until we got made the call today. So what's going on with the Dallas Cowboys, Josh?
I don't even know what's going on with them anymore. I had high hopes when they brought McCarthy in, but flush that down the toilet.
I hear from a lot of Dallas Cowboy fans. I got family members that are Dallas Cowboy fans, and I hear a lot when you cannot mention the Dallas Cowboys without mentioning Jerry Jones. So, as a fan of the team, I mean, do you feel that his involvement perhaps is too much, or just enough,
Crippling.
or not enough?
His involvement is very crippling, in my opinion. In all honesty, that man just needs to sit back, relax, and let his general managers and his coaches run his team and stay out of it.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, a very talented team. And what did you think back a few weeks ago when Dak Prescott went down? I mean, I know that had to be a heartbreaker for you.
I was. I mean, whether you like the guy or not, it's always heartbreaking to see an injury like that to anybody, no matter the team. But once that happened, any hopes of any kind of season really went downhill. I mean, we have a great receiving league, and I mean the line's kind of coming back up, but without that gunslinger out there, we've been kind of hopeless. I mean, as far as our backups and second string, third string, hell, we brought people up from the practice squad.
Yeah.
It's definitely been a hurt on us.
Yeah, I mean, teams take those, lickings every once in a while. I mean, not to mention COVID-19, which we still don't know if there's going to be an end to the 2020 NFL season. I mean, we're hoping, and all of the shuffling around of schedules and injuries. Now, Josh, don't hang up on me now. I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, okay? So,
Oh God.
so this time last year, we were going through our battles, and I think we got down to our fourth string quarterback. So, I mean, I know the feeling there, but I mean, so there's been a lot of talk about. I mean, in the NFC East division, I mean, you guys are just not out of it. I know the division is not the greatest, but somebody's going to win that thing, right?
Yeah, and unfortunately, right now it looks like Washington's going to get it if we don't step our game up.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, and I've seen years where they've had, crazy records, teams get into the playoffs. The playoffs is a whole different thing. So I just wouldn't rule things out completely. I mean, I know a lot of people talking about draft picks and, where you guys stand right now. I just don't think that's where you're going to end, when it's all said and done. But I definitely feel your pain. But I want to talk about that quarterback that played Sunday. You guys really almost knocked off the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh yeah, that was that was actually a big surprise for me seeing that. I didn't even watch the game, to be honest with you. I just kind of kept up with it on Google. I figured it was going to be basically like a crime scene on that one. I figured y'all were going to run all over us.
No,
Somehow they held through.
So I mean, it's just that's one of those rivalries I tell a lot of people, because I certainly didn't buy into that 15-point spread that was out there, because these two teams tend to play each other. They don't play each other but every 4 years, and they've met in some Super Bowls, and is just one of the greatest rivalries in the NFL. So I mean, you guys, I like the quarterback, and I really think you guys might have a legitimate backup. I actually like him better than Dalton.
Yeah, I'm hoping he stays true to his game. I mean, I'd love to see Dak come back, but with what he went through, I doubt he'll be back this season. Now they have seen reports of him being back on the field and everything like that, but just there watching.
Okay, all right, Josh. Well, hey, man, I appreciate your insights on football, and once again, I can't emphasize enough that I appreciate your service to this country, and I want you to get out there and enjoy your Veterans Day. Have you taken advantage of any of the freebies out there today?
Now, sir, I'm actually at work right now.
Well, I mean, you know, there's a ton of free food out there. You're gonna have to get some before midnight, right?
Oh yeah.
All right, Josh, man. Hey, thanks a lot, man. Like I said, thanks for being part of the show and enjoy your Veterans Day, okay?
Yes, sir. You too.
All right, folks. Josh Schanenberger, former United States Marine, joining us here on the MeanGene show as we continue to celebrate and appreciate our veterans here on this Veterans Day. We have another guest that is going to join us, and this is our special guest. So we look forward to that coming up here pretty soon. So, hey, stick around. It's going to get even more better here on Veterans Appreciation Day here on the Mean Gene Show, iHeartRadio. My last guest today is our special guest as we continue to honor those who served and those who are currently serving in our armed forces on this Veterans Appreciation Day here on the Mean Gene Show. It is my pleasure to introduce a former Green Beret Special Forces veteran. He served time in Iraq and Afghanistan. He was also a walk-on at the University of Texas under then head coach Mac Brown. In 2012, at the ESPN College Football Awards, he received the Disney Spirit Award. After college, he signed a free agent contract with the Seattle Seahawks. This man is probably the most inspirational person on the planet, and I can't wait to hear his story. Please welcome to the show, Nate Boyer. Hey, Nate, how you doing, man?
I'm pretty good. How are you, man?
Hey, I'm great, Nate. First and foremost, I want to thank you for your service. You have certainly gone above and beyond the call of duty, and happy Veterans Day.
Thank you very much. It means a lot.
Nate, I don't even know where to start with your story. It's so incredible, but I do, just for my listeners, are you able to explain how do you become such how do you become a member of such an elite group like the Green Beret, and what was that training like?
Training was incredibly difficult. I mean, I joined under this 18 X-ray contract where I'm coming off the street and you compete with a bunch of other people to try to earn that Green Beret. It takes about a year and a half to 2 years to go through the training, and it's the hardest thing you can imagine. Very physically and mentally challenging, but it's worth it at the end. It's worth it at the end, and you get to serve among the elite and fight for the country and fight for those that can't fight for themselves. So it's worth it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Was there any point in time during that training where you thought maybe like, man, I don't know if I made the right choice?
Every day. Every day you think that, and you want to quit, at least part of you. Every day, at least in the tough part of the training. But, it's the guys that just don't quit, that just keep going, are the ones that make it. And that's the guys you want to serve alongside anyway.
Absolutely. Now, and just a little education on becoming a member of the Green Beret. Is that an enlisted or an officer type opportunity? How does that work?
No, it's enlisted. I mean, you could be an officer, but you have to be in the regular Army first if you're an officer. As an enlisted man, you could come in off the street like I did and kind of go right into that training if you passed certain exams and have like a certain, I guess you meet certain requirements, what I should say.
Okay. So now, while you're serving as a member of the armed forces, at some point in time during that career, you must have given thought to playing college football. So how did that take place?
Yeah, I mean, it's something I always wanted to do. I grew up playing every other sport except football and I regretted it. So it sort of just
it made sense, and it was a time in my life where I figured if I don't go to college now, I'm never going to go. And so I went and gave it everything I had, and honestly, it was the best thing I ever did for me. I think one of them, anyway, is to sort of follow that dream, and the people that I met through that, and I think the people that I inspired, it was definitely worth it. And I worked really hard for that, so I'm absolutely proud of it.
Absolutely. Now, I mentioned who your coach was. I guess I probably should have gave a little bit more credit. And I think I did say that you went to the University of Texas, right? So I did say that. So how was it playing for Mac Brown, and what was he like?
He's awesome, great man. I'm still good friends with him, and he was a great coach. He was always about the players first, and he just wanted us to be successful and be good people first and foremost. Winning was always secondary, although it was very important. But it was more about growing young men into grown men. And he still does that. He's still a mentor of mine and a friend of mine. He cherishes friendship. He's the best.
That's great. That's good to hear. Folks, once again, we are talking with a former Green Beret Special Forces member of the United States Army, Nate Boyer. And he's joining us here on this special Veterans Day Appreciation Day. So Nate, playing alongside with some of the other your college teammates. I mean, did they look to you for leadership and guidance? How was that experience?
Yeah, but I looked to them too. I mean, just because I was older than them, was in the military, there was a lot I could learn from them, and still do. But I'm sure that they looked up to me at some level in the locker room, and it was awesome. I mean, I was 10 years older than the other freshmen, but we all got along well, and were able to accomplish a lot together, and a lot of them I'm still close with, which is cool.
So Nate, look, I spent time in the United States Navy. Never in my wildest dream did I ever think about. Thank you, sir. Never in my wildest dream did I ever think about being a Navy SEAL. So, I mean, where did that discipline come from? I mean, was that part of your upbringing? I mean, because it's just not in everybody, as you know.
I don't know. I mean, you have to learn it. You have to put yourself out there and just kind of go for it, I think. I didn't have a lot of self-worth growing up, and even at that time, so I felt like I had to do something important and had to be a part of something big to make a difference in the world and to matter. So I just wanted to belong like everybody else, and I think that's what got me through. That's what got me through the training, and that's where the discipline sort of developed from.
That's incredible. That's incredible. So now, well, you play at the University of Texas and you reach the end of your career there, and then you sign as a free agent with the Seattle Seahawks. Tell us about that.
Yeah, another great coach, Pete Carroll, called me and asked me to come on as a free agent. And I had an opportunity to go up to Seattle and compete for the long snapping position. Ultimately, it didn't work out, but I played in one NFL game, got to go through training camp and OTAs as a 34-year-old rookie, which was pretty incredible. I think I'm the oldest rookie in NFL history in the modern era, anyway. And it was awesome. I mean, I don't regret one second of it. And just to get that chance was great. The people of Seattle were awesome. It was something that'll stick with me forever. One of my proudest moments, for sure.
Nate, I know you're short on time, man. I really want to thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to come on board the show, and I want to wish you continued success in all that you do, man.
Thank you, Gene. I appreciate that, my man.
Hey, all right.
Thanks for having me on.
No problem, man. Folks, Nate Boyer joining us here on the Mean Gene Show here on iHeartRadio. And if you want to know more about Nate Boyer, please go to this website, nateboyer.com. That's NATEBOYER.com. You will find more interesting stuff about this man. Things that, there's just a list of stuff we couldn't even go into because of limited time. But nevertheless, I advise you to go check that out. That's going to wrap it up for this special Veterans Day appreciation edition of the Mean Gene Show here on iHeartRadio. Make sure you join me and Dustin Pfeiffer as we count down week 10 of the National Football League this weekend. So, folks, enjoy your day. Once again, happy Veterans Day.